Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha. Om. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamshrishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvo Paplavarahitaha Prajnana Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi Om Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Padabhidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashyakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane Om. Yasya Nishvasitam Vedaha Yo Vedebhyo Kilan Jagat Nirmame Tamaham Vande Vidyatirthamaheshwaram Vidyatirthamaheshwaram. Om. There are two kinds of people who do not have any conflict. People who are sure about the right path that they have to take, and people for whom what is wrong, what actually is wrong, seems to be absolutely right. And that's why they have no conflict. But there are also people who at the same time have both the streams running in them. Those who have Shubhavasana and also who have the Ashubhavasana. Meaning, those whose impressions or tendencies are of both the types, and seemingly both of them have an equal weight. Shubhavasana, those tendencies which are called as Shubha or auspicious tendencies, which are spontaneous. It is not a product of deliberation. And that's why sometimes it becomes natural for some people to be bad. And it's natural for some people to be kind and compassionate. Then just would it be justified to say, because it is natural, it is right? Because several people have this justification. They say what is natural is right. because it simply happens to be so spontaneous. It appears as if it is natural. And therefore, only to say that something is just spontaneous, natural, then has to be right, is nowhere justified. If for me, inflicting pain around on people and animals and beings around me seems to be so natural that I don't even have to think twice. It just happens. Then is it right, is the question. Therefore, just saying something is right because it is natural doesn't hold any meaning. For a criminal, that he wants to kill, murder, loot, plunder, is so deeply rooted. So that we do not have this kind of a justification. We simply are saying there are these two streams and both of them are vasanas. One is Shubha Vasana, the other one is Ashubha Vasana. What is called as Shubha Vasana? That which is Shastriya, meaning that which is supported and indicated by the scriptures is what we call as Shastriya, and this is Shubha. That which is in fact prohibited by the Shastra, and yet the person is drawn to it, is the Ashubha Vasana. And when we have people, because there are these two, there is going to be a permutation and combination of Shubha and Ashubha. So now Bhagavan Sri Rama is asking this question, that these are the vasanas with which the person has already come, and the vasanas also keep on getting embedded. New grooves are formed, impressions are made, because mind is one such material on which impressions will fall. And not only that these impressions will fall, these impressions will be so deep down that all our responses to the situations and the world around us will happen as if it is, and it is spontaneous, which means it is not willed. Let me be good, let me be bad, let me be sharp-tongued, let me be acidic in my reactions. No, it just happens. So now, Bhagavan Ram is asking these questions not simply because, that is his real conflict. He is voicing the problem of all of us. And because now this reply is given to Sri Rama, we are all, and the question is also asked by Sri Rama. That's why we are going to listen to it with reverence, with devotion. And this is the purpose of Avatar too. So over here, sage Vasishtha replies to Rama by saying that there are these two streams which always are active in humanity. The stream of Shubhavasana and the stream of Ashubhavasana. And then we are people in whom both these streams also may be flowing. If there is someone who is just with Shubhavasana, then that person, for him, no matter what, he cannot be forced even to be cruel. He cannot be forced to by the Ashubhavasana, because for him, being kind, being compassionate, being friendly, being understanding is so natural. Now, furthermore, Sage Vasishtha now is giving a solution over here. And remember, the solution that he is giving is in response to Sri Rama's question, saying that the vasanas with which the person has already arrived. So it is praktana, means it is from several earlier births, pragbhavam janmantariyam, and also acquired unconsciously during this lifetime too. So over here, Shubha, Shubhabhyam. So Rama's question was that vasanas are forcing me to act. If the vasanas are forcing me to act according to their what do they call, the power that these vasanas have, I find myself helpless, sir. And you are saying that yes, it is the Purusha Prayatna, the Yoga Abhyasa, which can subdue the various vrittis of the mind, namely the kartritvam, bhoktritvam, sukha dukkha, etc. And thus, because abhibhava of these modifications of the mind is what is called as Jivanmukti, for which effort is required. Effort means action, and actions are determined by vasanas. But my vasanas are such that I find, though I may want to follow the spiritual path, but my vasanas are pulling me away from it. I may find watching films or something else which may be interesting, more interesting than knowing Atma is Brahman. I may be drawn to it. And these are the vasanas which are drawing me out to the world of sensual excitement, to the world of ego's games. What should I do? Because it is all the vasanas which are forcing that action. And you are saying action which requires an effort, and that effort, if is in form of yoga abhyas, practice of samadhi, then it is possible that Jivanmukti can be established or experienced. Therefore, sir, what should I do? Over here, understanding what is it that makes the action possible. It is not just your will. It is just not your, what do they call, discrimination, but it is the vasanas. And this is the reason why sometimes we may understand this is not right, and yet we will be forced into a different course of action than what is right. We know what is right, and this is what even Duryodhana says. Duryodhana says, I know what is right, not that I do not know. But what can I do? I'm helpless. That what is right is not what I can follow. I know what is adharma. I know what is wrong, but I cannot withdraw myself away from it. I cannot wean myself away from it. Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. I know what is dharma, I know what is right. Yet I cannot follow it. Nachame pravritti. Janami adharmam. I know what is adharma. I know what is wrong. I don't need anyone to tell me what is right, what is wrong, because to me personally, I know. So not that Duryodhana does not know what is right and wrong. He knows what he is doing to Pandavas is wrong. And yet he says, Nachame nivritti, I'm somehow not able to wean myself away. I'm not able to separate myself from it. I cannot navigate away from it. And that's why this is a very beautiful word, vasana ogha. He has said. In fact, he has also used the word vividho vasana vyuha. Vyuha also means a complex. A complex. And that complex means the person is caught up over there. Escaping from that is almost impossible. Individual, as long as you're going to identify yourself, see yourself as an individual, that individuality means caught up in the vasana, whether shubha or ashubha. That's why both of them are called as the vyuha, a complex. A mesh, a web. Like a puzzle. And it goes on becoming more and more complicated, and that's why it is vasana vyuha. Also, it is called, as he has said, margabhyam shubha shubhabhyam margabhyam vahanti vasana sarit. Vasana sarit also means the river. And those who know swimming or have ever taken a dip or tried swimming in a river, you will know how difficult it is to take yourself away from the current of that river. Some years back, an elephant fell into this Ganga river. Such a massive, strong animal, but even it was not able to fight that current and got swept away. You see? And that's why caught up in these vasana vyuha is caught up in this stream. To fight it, to go away from it is next to impossible. As long as one is going to live as an individual, discover himself as an individual, till then, this vasana vyuha is going to, the complex is going to be difficult. But there is a way out, and that is, if the shubhavasanas start weighing more in your life, there is a chance of overcoming this individuality. Because when the shubhavasanas are there, those shubhavasanas sooner or later will bring you to the shore will bring you to the temple of knowledge. And when the knowledge takes place, it is already said by the Upanishad that all the karma, all the complexes, granthis, bhidyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante chasya karmani, tasmin drashte paravare. All the hridaya granthis, the complexes are cut asunder, which means all the complexes, these vasana vyuha is also now you will discover the freedom from this vasana. And tasmin drishte paravare, in knowing the Paramatma, in knowing this Atma, in knowing the Brahman, this happens. So Jivanmukti is possible, but provided the Shubha Vasanas start becoming stronger and stronger. But how can Shubha Vasana become stronger? And he says, till now, we have not noticed, one has not become aware as how the vasanas start becoming stronger. When something is done over again and again and again and again, then it becomes a vasana. And when that vasana becomes very strong, it appears as if something is spontaneous. You can try this with yourself. If you find that you easily get annoyed, irritated, angry at some person, decide that for next 6 months, no matter what it happens, I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to give an response of anger. I will deal with the situation in another manner. Just do that for 6 months. And then after, you will discover that the person who was annoying you so much has no more power to annoy you. How did this happen? Because every time he tried annoying you, irritating you, making you angry, your response was different and you tried. There was an effort because of which now he loses the power to make you angry. Doing it over again and again. Whenever something is done, repeated, it almost becomes like, it becomes spontaneous now. Somewhere here in the same text, Vidyaranya Swami is going to give you an example. And I have seen this, in our childhood, when at our grandparents' home, we had those bullock carts. And the bullocks, sometimes when the one who would hold the reins of those bullocks would be tired in the evening or late in the evening and just go to sleep, the bullocks would bring the cart back home. even without him, goading, pushing, or, directing those bullocks. How did these bullocks bring it home? Because of sheer habit of walking that same path again and again. It was natural for them. They knew that when yoked, they should come back here. So also we have seen that when our cattle were left free to go and graze in the mountains, in the forest. So in the morning, after the cow has fed her calf, and they would be free, and all the cattle, cows, and these bulls would go into the forest for grazing. And just before sunset, they would come back. Nobody was directing them, but just because of the habit of coming back and going to the forest, they knew where to go and then come back. Just by themselves. Would come back. Similarly, when something is done again and again, repeated, now it will become, the pattern will go, settle as an impression, will become a vasana. And this vasana then will give the responses which now are so spontaneous that you are going to say it is natural to me. It is natural to me. One doesn't have to deliberate on that any longer. It just happens. So therefore, he says, Shubha Shubhabhyam Margabhyam Vahanti Vasana Sarit Paurushena Prayatnena Yojaniya Shubhe Pathi. There is the vasana, just the vasana, the tendency to respond to the world outside, which is the power resting in you. There is a power resting in you. And this is like a river rushing out. But this river has two parts. One is called as the Shubha, and the other one is the Ashubha, auspicious and the inauspicious. There he says, it is totally up to you to, by paurushena prayatnena, by your own efforts, to make this power which is resting in you to respond to the world, to lead it through the path of Shubha, through the path of auspiciousness. And so, paurushena prayatnena yojaniya shubhe pathi. We all know that, this canals of the rivers are made. The river has its own natural course to run into the ocean. But by human efforts, there are canals that are made. And these canals have a little different direction than the natural course of the river, which means by human effort, a canal is dug, which has a level which is at a little lower angle than the natural course. And that's why the water of the river now can rush into the canals too and go into those areas which are arid and dry, making them fertile. Vasana sarit, but it is through human effort. Paurushena prayatnena yojaniya shubhe pathi. You can take up this as a project. One can take this up as a project. If you feel 6 months is too long, do it for 1 month. And if you still feel that you still can improve, go ahead with another month, till the point where your responses are the responses of peace and joy and wisdom, not of anger, irritation, or any other thing. Deal with the situations whereby your knowledge and peace, joy is not contaminated. So, Paurushena prayatnena yojaniya shubhe pathi, to which now he says, Ubhaya pakshetu shubhabhagasya prayatna nairapekshye, when a person is endowed with both shubhavasana and also ashubhavasana, the person doesn't have to worry about what to do with the shubhavasana. Don't have to worry about shubhavasana. All that you need to take care about is of the ashubhavasana. That's all. Ubhaya pakshetu shubhabhagasya prayatna nairapekshye. The prayatna is not apekshitam, is not expected in that direction, where the shubhavasana is there. Ashubhabhagam, and that which is the part which is ashubhabhaga, what to do about it? Shastriya prayatnena nivarya shubhameva tasya sthane samacharet. Now, to take your attention, energy away from the ashubha, and in that place, let it do whatever is shubham. Shubhameva tasya sthane samacharet. Ashubheshu samavishtam shubheshveva avataraya swamanah purusharthena balena balinam vara. Hey balinam vara, oh strong amongst strongest. So Rama is not just strong, he is strong. Amongst those who are strong, you are the strongest, or strongest amongst the strong. Balinam vara. Ashubheshu samavishtam, when the mind gets involved in the ashubha, at that time, shubheshu eva avataraya. Let it descend into shubha. Avataraya, make it descend into shubha. Or we can say, let it ascend into shubha if it starts descending down into ashubha. Avataraya. Avataraya is kind of may it, let it. So there is kind of the command, avataraya. Swamanah purusharthena. And what is it that descends into ashubha or has to be ascended into the shubha? That's swamana, your own mind. Okay. But I'm advising good to my people, my children, my husband, my wife, everyone. They don't listen to me. Baba, you listen to yourself first. Swamana purusharthena balena balinam vara. Now he explains what is ashubha. Ashubheshu. What is ashubha? Parastri dravyadishu, that feeling attracted, even the thoughts of coveting parastri, some other woman. You have your own wife, please her. If you want to, win her heart. Chasing another woman, what is it going to give you? It's the same woman. And therefore, ashubheshu means parastrishu, athva paradravyeshu, that what belongs to somebody else, one wants to covet. And from there, that's why it is called as ashubha. Shubheshu shastrartha devata dhyanadeshu. Now let the mind, you will have to bring it. But Swamiji, when we sit for satsang and all, our mind runs in different direction. Just because it is running in a different direction does not mean that just allow and don't do anything shubha. In fact, one will have to follow this shubha till the trap of till the spell of ashubha fades away. The attraction of the ashubha goes away. Shubheshu means shastrartha devata dhyanadishu. Involve yourself in the studies of the scripture, puja, dhyanam, japam, all these are shubha, punya karmas. Do that. Devata dhyanadishu. Purusharthena means purusha prayatnena. Over here, the word purushartha does not mean dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It simply means purusha prayatnena. And then balena, balinam vara. Balena means prabalena. By those who are strong, because nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. The Upanishad says that the Paramatma is not attained by those who are victims of their own weaknesses. Victims of their own weaknesses. Parastri, paradravya, etc. is all this weakness. And therefore, don't fall into that. Balena, prabalena. There you will have to initially apply some force. Don't say that, I cannot, because the force of the other side is too strong. You will have to grow stronger than the force of this vasana. Ashubha chalitam yati shubham tasmadapitaram jantoshchittam tushishuvat tasmad chalayed balat. And understand, when you have taken it away from ashubha, don't keep it empty. Just don't leave it unattended. Give it a positive occupation. Because if it is left unattended without any constructive thing to do, it will become destructive. I think, if I'm not wrong, it was Carl Jung who said, if it was Carl Jung, or maybe one of the early psychologists who can be considered as fathers of modern psychology. And he said, if a child is not allowed to be creative, he will become destructive. So even though you have taken the mind away from ashubha, and if you do not give it some shubha to be occupied with, the mind will be forced into Ashubha again. Ashubha chalitam yati, because the other option always has to be there, available. You simply cannot tell the child, don't do this. You will have to tell the child, do this. Because he wants to do something. It is the nature of the mind to keep on responding, to be involved. Then if it is going to be involved, let it be involved in that what is Shubha. Ashubha chalitam yati, when taken away from Ashubha, Shubham tasma yati Shubham, and where does it go to? Shubham. And if you take it away from Shubham, it will go to the Ashubha. Tasmad api itaram. So also it is true in the other case too. That is the other side of the coin. Remember, jantosh chittam tu shishuvat. So therefore, if you have taken some sort of a niyama to do the puja, do it. हाँ, आज जाने दीजिए. Today is Sunday, so let it be. Then you will find that how quickly it regresses. All the sadhana bala, that the strength that you have gathered for, let us say, 3 months, 6 months of that practice, now in a week or in just few days, it will be drained down. That's why sometimes you will find a lot of seekers say, स्वामी जी पहले तो हम बहुत ध्यान करते थे, अब जो छूट गया, अब 10 मिनट भी बैठना मुश्किल होता है. I used to meditate for an hour at least, and once I left, now it is difficult for me to do it even for 10 minutes. Gone. Jantosh chit, that's why it is the other side of the coin. Jantosh chittam tu shishuvat tasmat tachalayed balan. The chitta, the mind of an individual, is like a small infant. And you will have to take the child away from something that is harmful by force. The child may want to catch the flame, but it is harmful. You will have to give it some other toy or occupy him with something else which is not harmful but helpful. Yatha shishuhu mritbhakshana nivarya phalabhakshane yojyate. Just as a mother takes care of that child, if the child is seen eating mud or some, the soil, the mother understands that this is a deficiency, some calcium deficiency or some mineral deficiency, and if it can be, he is trying to eat that mud or something, and so she takes care by giving him something like the fruits or some other thing by which the child will enjoy and also will be away from eating the mud. Yatha shishuhu mritbhakshanam nivarya phalabhakshane yochyate. Kaya? By whom? By the mother. By matra. Mani muktadya karshanan nivarya. Sometimes there are these things little glamorous to which we are, because of its, that luster and its glare, how we get attracted to it. The glamour of, caressing the ego and things like that, you may get attracted to it. And so he is giving you another example, Mani Muktado. There are these jewels and shiny objects. The child will be taken away from that, because if the child is going to eat it, it may get stuck in his system and it may cause a greater problem. And therefore, Manimuktadya Karshanam Nivarya takes away his attention from that, and Kandukadya Karshane Yochyate shows him some toys. Kanduka means that the ball or something spinning toy. Kandukadya Karshane Yochyate Tatha Chittamapi Satsangena Dussangad Tad Vishayan Nivarayitum Shakyam. So also it is quite possible that the mind also can be weaned away from dussanga. By what? By bringing it into satsanga. Satsangad, dussangad, satsangena dussangad, tad vishayan nivarayitum shakyam. It is quite possible. So now we are going to see the upaya. The upaya means the remedy to take care of the mind, how it can be brought away from the ashubha into shubha. And there are these two remedies. One is a soft remedy, mrida upaya. And the other one is where is it? The other one is not mridu upaya, means it is not a soft remedy. It means it is little, not harsh, I'm going to say. But this mridu upaya, mridu meaning something that is soft approach. A soft approach has got a quick efficacy. The harder approach also has efficacy, becomes effective, but it will take a longer time. But do not underestimate even the power of the harder upaya, remedy. So there are these two remedies which are going to be suggested, that how the mind can be brought into the shubha path, on the auspicious path. And thus by having so, now those shubhavasanas naturally will bring you to yoga abhyasa. And when there is that yoga abhyasa, when starts taking roots and becomes stronger, now the abhibhava of the modifications of the mind in form of kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam, sukha dukkha, which is bondage, because they are dukkha rupatva, because they are all klesha rupa, and hence it is possible for Jivanmukti to take place. So the asambhavana, that impossibility which was mentioned by the Purva Paksha, is eradicated when you have the proper upayas. What are those upayas? We are going to see later. Till then, you can contemplate this Shubha and Ashubha Marga. Okay. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Om Om. Thank you all. Thank you very much.